like the OSP officers who are setting awards up and maintaining them, they can restrict notes so that only people with OSP permissions can see them. Or notes can be set up, I can unrestrict the note, or notes can be set up as unrestricted so anyone with appropriate access to the award documents can see it. Last but not least is attachments. Works very similarly to the other attachment fields you've seen, where you can attach any one of these kinds of documents. And this field, of course, is configurable so that you can add different attachment types based on what your school might want be attached to the award document. The award actions panel, one of the final ones in award, has a few things that are really similar to what you've seen before. It's also got some additional things that you haven't seen anywhere else. It has validation just like Proposal does, and it works very much the same way, where you can turn it on and fix errors as you go along. Award hierarchy allows you, via this time and money document, which we'll see in a few minutes, allows you to create a hierarchy in the award that might reflect different budget and accounting strategies for this particular award. So for instance, on an award, you might have 4 or 5 investigators, each who are handling a different part of the award and have different pieces of the budget related to that. This is a way of showing how the award is sort of mapped to those departments and units. Excuse me. So I can set up a hierarchy that shows, Allison Kate as the lead PI, but all the different other PIs under her with the dollar amount that's assigned to them for different pieces of the award. We'll show you how that works in time and money, because that's where a lot of that comes from. The print function allows you to generate a PDF of all of this information that we've entered into the award to date, including the terms and conditions, the rates, and the budget, and it allows you to just print this and send it to the PI if you need to. If you want the PI to sign off on it on a hard copy, you can click that button and it'll generate a nice signature line. It just is a way for you to make sure things get routed to the right place if your institution requires a physical signature. You can also build routing into the award so it gets routed instead of being physically sent by a piece of paper. And that would be here with the route log, which is really the same as Proposal, only your award routing might be very different based on what your scenario is, but you can choose to take a number of options of routing to departments and PIs for an award, and however you want to set that up. It's basically the same theory, where it shows the actions taken, what still needs to happen, and any future action requests if there are any. So in this case, there aren't. But again, you can set up workflow just like you would for Proposal to handle the scenario at your school. Medusa is the same screen that you saw back in the Proposal. So it shows those relationships between awards and proposals in a graphical way. And time and money, I save that until the end because it's the most complicated part of award. This is really where you manage the dollar amounts of the award and where they're going. And what that really means and where they're going is where they're going in the hierarchy. If you've got, like I said before, an award with multiple tasks and multiple years and things going on, it's a way of tracking where that money is, who's responsible for it in the accounting system, what task it might apply to. Some schools will choose not to use award hierarchy, and many schools will use it in many different ways. I know one of the ways that my school will choose to use it is to show that, for co-investigators who might have sub-accounts related to an award, how those are mapped together to roll up to the main award amount, so that we know that when we set things up in the financial system, we're doing it the way that the department wants to set those up. It allows you to create transactions against the hierarchy. So I've already done one for my new award. The source for a new award is always external because it's money coming in, and I'm showing that my obligated amount is $100,000, and I'm anticipating 10,000 more. And what that lets me do is once I'm ready to set up my award hierarchy, it will show me how much of that amount I have distributed and not distributed amongst nodes in the hierarchy if I had anything added. So right now, while I've added my $100,000, I have not distributed it to anywhere. But it's basically a way so that I can say, I got $100,000. I know that it needs to go to these 5 different places. Just a way for it to keep tracking, what's been distributed and what hasn't been, and keep tracking the amounts that come in on an award and the obligated amounts versus the anticipated award amounts. Allows you to add individual line items for the obligated totals with direct and indirect costs. Shows you a summary of the award information. Just a read-only version of, the who's and what's of the awards, the sponsors, the dollar amounts, the kind of award it is, the investigators, if there's more than one. The action summary, once I, start creating a hierarchy and adding more transactions, will capture the history and actions here of all of the things that I've done to this award once I really start getting into it and adding additional modifications and things that are typical of a current award. And then, again, a route log that I can route where appropriate for my institution. We've got about 20 minutes left in the demonstration. I've shown you proposal and award, and I'm wondering if at this point is a good time to take any questions so that we meet our time. Okay, we have one question that was entered into the webinar control panel asking if there can be simultaneous review across nodes in the workflow. The answer is yes. Any one person who has appropriate access to the document can be reviewing it at any time. The only caveat there is that if it's not gotten to the node where I need to approve it, I can look at it. I just can't approve it until it's gotten to my node. But review can happen at any point. If there are any other questions, if there are questions, great, thank you. I'll just pull these up and answer them as I go along. With percent effort and calendar months, you actually need to use percent effort to calculate calendar months. So what KC does in the budget is calculate calendar months based on the percent effort that you entered, so that gets populated properly in grants.gov submissions, and it can also be calculated based on the percent effort. So it really does handle both methods of allocating in a fashion, but it does require that you enter a percent effort in order to calculate the appropriate calendar month based on the calendar, academic, or summer period. So the next question was, in future versions, will users be able to host KC using different database servers? So I'm not sure I understand your question completely, so if I don't answer this properly, oh, and I see your question, i.e. not Oracle. Yes, with KC, it is database agnostic, so you're not required to use Oracle or MySQL. It's really up to your school. We don't want to put a school in a position of picking a particular database, one database over the other. The next question has, have any proposals been submitted yet? And if not, the ETA on the first one. We don't have any schools using proposal in production yet, but it will be happening very quickly. Some of our first schools will start using proposal this year. Some of them as aggressively as this summer, so I would say stay tuned. We've done a lot of testing against grants.gov servers, so we know the grants.gov system works, but not in production yet. The next question was, can you override if immediate approval is required? And the answer to that is yes. For the Sponsor Projects Office in particular, or really anyone you choose to give this authority, for some of those users, a button called Blanket Approve will appear on the proposal. What that'll do is allow the proposal to be completely approved, and it'll send notifications back to the previous approvers or those who have not been approved, who have not approved the proposal yet, so that they know an action was taken. Okay, I think I may have answered the question where, yes, you would be able